I've always prided myself on being the rock of the family, the silent foundation upon which our little world was built. My home office, my sanctuary, is just a few steps from the bustling heart of our house, the kitchen. Yet, as I sat there day after day, immersed in my work, I couldn't help but notice the pattern that unfolded each afternoon. The kids would burst through the door, their voices a melody filled with youthful energy and schoolyard tales. They'd veer left straight to the kitchen, to their mother. They call her Mom, where are you? And her voice, in the kitchen, always seemed to guide them. And there I sat, to the right, in my office, unnoticed, a ghost in my own home. I tried not to let it bother me. They're just kids, I'd mutter to myself. But deep down, a small part of me ached for recognition, for that same excited chatter to be directed my way. I am their father. I care for them, work my ass off to make them happy. So I deserve some love, or that's what I thought. When their mother would gently remind them, "Did you see your father? Did you say hi to him? Go greet him," I'd prepare myself for the fleeting hellos. I sit patiently in my office, waiting for them to arrive. Yet it often took them a good half an hour to make the short journey from the kitchen to my office. I know it's a long drive, with lots of traffic in between the kitchen and the office. So finally, when they arrive, their enthusiasm is waned down and is usually replaced by half-hearted greetings. I realized I was competing with the center of our home, the heart, their mother. And in this silent competition, I was losing, and not for lack of trying. Here I was, doing everything a father is supposed to do, caring for them, providing, and even perfecting my dad jokes, which admittedly might need some work. Yet, despite my best efforts, I seemed to be trailing far behind in the race for their attention. It struck me as both funny and a bit absurd. I mean, I was the guy who could turn a pancake into a superhero with just a squeeze bottle. I am the father who knew exactly how to scare away the monsters under their beds with my patented Monster Be Gone spray, water with a dash of lavender, but who's checking? I was the architect of their treehouse, the unsung hero who could fix a broken toy with the magic of duct tape. Yet, in the grand theater of our home, I was more like the understudy to the lead role, waiting in the wings while their mother received the standing ovations. This isn't to say that I wanted to dethrone their mother as the star of the show. After all, she deserved every bit of their adoration, the way she could cure a scraped knee with a kiss, or turn a frown upside down with her silly faces, was nothing short of miraculous. But perhaps, I thought, I could at least compete for a supporting role, maybe win an honorable mention in the credits of their childhood memories. It was a humbling realization, laced with a hint of comedic tragedy. Like a superhero who had forgotten his cape at home, I was navigating the complex web of parenthood, trying to figure out where I fit into this picture that seemed to have been painted without me. And yet, in the midst of all this, I couldn't help but laugh at the irony. Here I was, the man of the house, bested by the simple yet profound powers of a mother's love. Well, if this was a competition, I was going to need to up my game. Maybe start a pancake breakfast tradition on Saturdays, or finally learn how to braid hair. After all, in the game of parental love, it's all about the small wins. I remember a particular evening last week. I had just finished a grueling day of work, and stepped out of my office, stretching my stiff limbs. As I wandered towards the kitchen, I saw my eldest son fumbling with something. He was in shock when he saw me. He froze, his eyes darting to the floor, took few steps back and hid what he had behind his back. I continued my way without paying much attention. When I came back, I caught him placing a well-known brand piece of chocolate in her mouth, proudly bought from his own money. When he saw me, he was embarrassed and didn't know how to handle the situation. He was trying to do something special for his mother, his little secret project. When he noticed me, he froze, his eyes darting to the floor, then to his mother, seeking refuge. I paused, a strange feeling gripping my heart. Was it jealousy? Sadness? I couldn't place it. I watched as he shyly offered the chocolate to his mother, pride swelling in his chest. She beamed at him, a moment of pure love and appreciation shared between them. And there I stood, an outsider, a stranger, looking in. Then, after a few moments, he tried to pull out a caramel sweet stuck at the bottom of his jeans pocket. It was barely coming out, stuck in some pieces of paper napkins. The sweet was sticky and half melted. But it was his way of reaching out, of acknowledging me, to make up for what I saw. I took it and I walked away, feeling more invisible than ever. It was then that I realized the profound disconnect between my children and me, that indeed, I am a stranger in my own house. Despite my constant presence, my constant efforts, I was more of a background character in their lives. I don't dwell much on this gender distinction. True, the chocolate he bought for his mother is very delicious, but I try not to get upset about their complete leaning towards their mother. Maybe we did the same as kids and more. The days that followed were filled with introspection. I pondered over my relationship with my children. Was I too distant, too absorbed in my work? Or was it just the way of the world, the natural leaning of children towards their mother? Despite a father's toughness, travels, fatigue, and affection, the wings lean towards the mother, and this is a natural instinct we do not control. I watched them from my office, the laughter, the tears, the endless chatter, all shared with their mother. I was just the man who fixed things, paid bills, and occasionally laid down the law. I realized then that I can't compete with my children's affection to their mothers. It was there, in their shy smiles, their awkward gifts, and their fleeting hugs. As the days turned into weeks, months, and years, I began to see the subtle ways my children expressed their love for me. A random thank you after they needed money, a birthday card with "I love you, Dad" drawing proudly displayed on the fridge. These were their ways of saying, "We see you, Dad, we recognize you, and we still love you." I embarked on a new mission, a sort of covert operation which I called Operation Involved Dad. The plan was simple: spend more time outside the confines of my office bunker and dive headfirst into their daily lives. I was determined to show them that I was more than just the mysterious figure lurking in the shadows of the house. So, armed with an arsenal of "How was your day?" and "Tell me more about your friends," I ventured into the uncharted territory of their daily lives. I drove them to their sports activities, even became their coach, cheering, encouraging, and enthusiastically proud from the sidelines. Progress was slow, but I still often received the classic non-committal responses. Day was fine. Everything's good. Nothing new. These phrases were like secret codes, impenetrable and brief. And then, as if by magic, they would transform into chatterboxes. the moment their mother asked them about their day. The floodgates would open, and they would animatedly share every minuscule detail of their day with her. It was both fascinating and slightly frustrating to witness. There I was, trying to be the intrepid reporter seeking the scoop of the day, only to realize they can only give the exclusive interview to their mother. It was like being the second reporter at a press conference, where all the good questions had already been asked. But instead of feeling defeated, I saw it as a challenge. Clearly, I needed to up my game. I wasn't deterred. No, I was more determined to crack this code. After all, if I could troubleshoot a complex system at work, surely I could decode the mysterious language between the kids and their mother. And so my quest continued, armed with patience, a sense of humor, and a growing appreciation for the complexity of this thing called parenthood. But there was the emotional truth I had to face. My realization that children do not discover their deep love for their father until it's too late, either after departure, illness, or loss of his zest for life. Perhaps, one day, when my children are standing at crossroads in life, they'll find strength in the lessons I've taught, in the silent sacrifices I've made, and the support I provided. They'll understand that my love was not just in the words I seldom spoke, but in the actions I quietly took. And this is a love that is too late, according to a father timing. As now, whenever I am in a dilemma, or life gets tough, or I hesitate in deciding on a matter, I sigh and say, "I wish you were here, Dad."